Yo, what's up, spiderlings, and welcome back to our Let's Play series of Satisfactory. So, as you've just seen in the intro, we're going on a little bit of a pivot with the series. So, we're still in the same place, still in the same world, haven't deleted anything. We're exactly where we were, where we last left off. The difference is I've just changed how I want to carry out this save. So what we shall do first is we shall get our hub replaced. Let's pop it there. That way we still get a nice view of the waterfront. Just until we actually upgrade and put our factory floor out here on the water in the nice big area that we've got. Okay, so the plan I've got for this playthrough is instead of doing all the chopping and the jumping and we're here, we're there, we're doing this, we're running around and etc, etc, I want to do it more like an actual Let's Play. So it's going to be more so real time as to what's going on. So there may be a little bit of back and forth in to start with, so it may seem a little bit slow to start with. So I'll have a look after I've done the recording of the video, and if I feel that it is a little bit too slow, then what I will do is I will cut out some of the jumping backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. But what I want to plan to do is I want to actually aim to do this as though you'd be playing it for yourself. So you get a bit more of an idea of how the game's actually played, because I know there's big YouTubers that do fantastic videos on this game, but a lot of it is heavily edited, so they pull out all of the nitty gritty of how you set things up and how you're planning things out and how you're actually going about things. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to take a little bit of a different approach and maybe keep a bit more of that in, so you kind of see just what goes into actually getting these factories up and running. So we'll head back over to where we last left off, which is the little mini makeshift concrete factory we've got here. So quite simply, what we've got in this setup here is a Mark 1 miner. This is running at a 37% efficiency at the moment. Now that is purely because this constructor here can only process 45 limestone per minute. And as you can see, this mine is producing 120. So the reason that's producing 120 is because this is a pure node, which you can see in the brackets on the screen there. Now you get 3 purities of nodes. You get a pure, a normal, and an impure node. Now a pure node will give you 120 with a Mark 1 miner because it doubles the amount of normal node which is 60. And then an impure node will half the normal node and give you 30 ore per minute. So really we could do with having at least one more constructor down here just to make it a little bit more efficient and use up more of the ore being processed. However, we need to do a couple of milestones to get there. So if you see in our logistics tab, we only have belts and conveyor bolts. So what we need to do is we need to head back over to the hub, jump in our hub terminal and see what milestones that we can unlock. So the plan I want to get done for this episode is I want to try and get a nice simple little factory set up on this iron ore node. This again is a pure node, so this can be split into 4 smelters. But what we need first, before we can get any of that moving and a grooving, is we need to get the logistics milestone completed. So if we head on in here to the hub terminal, as you can see, we've got the base builder one we did last episode to get our concrete foundations, our lookout towers, walls, etc, etc. So next up we've got here is logistics, and this is what we need here. This is the conveyor splitters and the conveyor mergers, and this is going to allow us to better utilize what is coming out of these ore nodes. So if we select that milestone, we can see that we need 150 iron plates, 150 rods, and 300 copper wire. So let's just head over to our storage box that we've just got nice and hidden out of the way. Pick up what we've got of the iron and the copper. And what we'll do is we'll get a quick little bit of handcrafting done. So what I will do is once the handcrafting is all done, I'll meet you back here. Okay, so yeah, so the handcrafting I've just done then, that's just took me best part only 10 minutes. So yeah, when it comes to any sort of handcrafting I know is going to be quite substantial, I'll cut it out just so that you haven't got to sit there and just watch a boring screen just going ding 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 all day. So right then, so now we've got those items all done and dusted, we can pop them into here. And away we go. So we have ourselves...
reached. Conveyor belts can now merge, split, and lift to increase the complexity and efficiency of your factory. The productivity display will help you measure and improve the productivity of individual buildings to aid with optimization.
Thank you very much, Ada. Yeah, so now we have our splitters and our mergers, we can start to get a little bit more creative. So we'll start off by taking this miner and taking this miner, and we'll start getting things placed down. So just do a little bit of housekeeping, clear up some of this leaves and wood and stuff around where we're going to set up. And then what we'll do is we'll get the foundations laid down, just so that we can have everything nice and neat and tidy. So we'll head on into our build menu. As you can see, we've got our conveyor lifts, now we've got our merger and our splitter. And I've got a feeling we're going to need some iron plates. Yes, we are. Okay, so let's head on back to the hub and get ourselves some iron plates done. So what I'll do this time is, because I've got a couple of stacks of iron on, we'll just leave this bit of handcrafting in, just so we get ourselves an idea of what the handcrafting is entailing. So this is why once you've got your early day factory set up, so just doing your basic items like producing your plates, your rods, the iron screws, your wire, your cable and your concrete, once you've got those established, everything then can start to progress a little bit quicker. So obviously you're not sat here bogged down having to do all this self handcrafting, you know, while the things crafting like they are now. Whilst we're sat here handcrafting, you can be running around and dotting about and planning your next builds, and yeah, just slowly progressing yourself through the world and through the milestones and up through the tiers. So what I want to try and get done for today's video is I want to get the iron plate sorted, the rod sorted, the screws done, the wire and the cable, and then we'll just go and reevaluate that little concrete setup we've got, because by now, having the splitters and the mergers that we've now got with the logistics upgrades, we should now be able to better utilise that concrete factory. Oh, and that sounds like we've got the Sounds like we've got the, I forget what it's called now. The mini spaceship coming back. Let's go with that. I think that sounds about okay. So we're nearly there on the ingot. So this is what I'm saying with the handcrafting. It takes away quite a bit from the viewing experience, I feel anyway. Because you just sat here watching this like I am, ticking down and ticking down and ticking down. And once we've done this, we've now got to then go into the iron plates. And we've got to make the iron plates as well. So I just kind of feel it's going to take away a little bit if I'm just sat here just videoing all this handcrafting for you to watch. So what we'll do is we'll just get a good, I don't know, we'll get the majority of these iron ingots smelted down in some plates, and that'll allow us to get a good hefty amount of foundations. Now, it used to always only be just the concrete to build the foundations, but they changed the recipes for them a few updates ago. But now, once we've got the resource sink and the awesome shop where you can basically recycle items to make coupons, and then that allows you to buy better pieces for your factory, i.e. aesthetics, in fact other items, other building parts to make your factories just look a little bit more unique, and allows you to put your stamp on the game and give a little bit of yourself to the game. We can't really go much more than just using the iron plates and the concrete, unfortunately, at the moment. So, right, we've got all that done. So we'll head on back to where we're going to be setting up our iron area. So if we go into the build menu, we'll get the 2-meter foundations for now. And what you can do with these, I believe, if we press left control, that's right. So that now is aligned to what is known as the world grid. So anywhere you go in the world, if I place, for example, one foundation here, we're going to head over here a little bit. If I press control again, that should have connected and snapped to the world grid. So you should be able to see, there we go, those connect perfectly. So that's just a little tip if you're wanting to keep things nice and organised and on the same plane no matter where you are in the world. If you just press and hold down the left control key, that will give you the world grid snapping and allow you to snap it no matter where you are. So you could draw one foundation from here all over the other side of the map and they would attach perfectly. Secondly, if you press the R key, see where it says build mode default underneath foundation 2 meter, that will change to what's called zoop. So when you select one foundation like so, you can then move out and put down up to 10 foundations in a row. So what we'll do is we'll just use the zoop to put a few bits down here, extend ourselves out. We're going to use this area here, I think, just until we get the chainsaw from the next milestone that we're going to carry out. So we'll fill all this in just pure because those trees are not going to be there for much longer. They will be there for the meantime just while we're setting up our little iron patch. So I like to put the foundations down just because it makes things nice and tidy, but it also allows you that when you're putting down your miners on the resource node, it allows them to, as you can see, they now snap perfectly to your foundations. So I think we'll go in that direction. We can bring it out, and then we can bring the belt out this way. Actually, no, scratch that. We're going to change that idea. Going to pop another pivot in right there, so we're going to bring it this way. Lovely. Just to tidy that up. Okay, so as I said before, this is a pure node, so this Mark 1 mine is going to produce 120 ore per minute. So if we head into our smelter and we just drop one down just here, and if we head into the smelter, set the iron recipe, you can see that this is going to take 30 ore per minute and give us 30 ingots per minute. Now, the reason I love this game so much is the maths that's involved. Yes, I'm one of those strange people that used to enjoy maths at school. So maths is a massive part of this game. Only if you want things to be running at 100% efficiency. And I feel that as it's part of the game, I do quite like the idea of trying to get as close to as possible. So you're not, you're making the most of everything that's being produced and there's no wastage anywhere. So 30s into 120 is 4. So we can get 4 smelters worth of iron ore out of this one node. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this because we've just plonked it down. And we're going to set it up just a little bit more neatly. As close as we can with that tree. Going to have to settle for there, I think. Yeah. So again, if you want things to be nice and organised again and nice and close together, if you press and hold the left control key again, you'll see there's like a green line that appears on the floor there. It's a bit hard to see. There we go. So you can see that green line on the floor. Now, no matter where you move this along here, see that green line extending? Those two machines are now slap bang in line, dead centre of each other. So we'll keep these just close together for the time being. That's all I'm going to focus on to start with, is getting the plates and the rods completed. So what we will get is we will get ourselves our splitters. We need some cable. Okay, so let's go and get some cable made. In fact, servers keep running back to the hub. We'll get ourselves a craft bench made. That should do us. Okay, so back to the conveyor splitters. As you can see, to line it up perfectly, you can see those two green lines. That's coming straight from the miner, and that will go straight into the smelter. So you can see we've got these green and these orange arrows. So the orange arrows are the inputs, and the green arrows are the outputs. So as you can see, we've got the orange arrow facing towards the miner, which is where the ore's coming from. We've got these green arrows facing out which way the items are going to be heading. So we can get, again, green lines. And we just wait till we've got, there we go, so we've got 3 green lines just there. And then the same again, just there. Okay, so now we can get our conveyor belt straight in, straight in, straight in, and straight in. So what I will do just to start with is we're going to disconnect this belt here. Now the reason being for that is that these belts can only carry 60 items per minute. So it doesn't make any sense to have all 4 in operation, purely because they're going to be inefficient, as we're only going to be running at about, I believe, the 25% capacity, purely because of how long it's going to take for this setup to get the ores down to the final one. What we can do is we can future proof and get it set up ready to go. So then all we need to do is connect that one together when we get the next logistics upgrade, which will allow us to have double the speed of belts. So we will select the recipe in here as iron ingots. Now what you can do in here is, if you see the bottom left, we've got copy settings and paste settings. Now if I copy the settings of this smelter, see it says settings copied, I can then go into this one and paste settings, and there we go. Now another way you can do so is if I just look at this one and press Ctrl C, it copies the settings from there. And then I can look at this one and Control V. Control V, if we jump in you can see we've got the same recipe set up. So a bit later on when we have what we call the underclocking and the overclocking set up, if you want to set the same clock speeds to each and every one, which is what's in this little box here, so when it's unlocked it'll all be there, you can actually pass all the settings along to the same machine so they'll be the exact same operating speeds. So now we've got that hooked up, we need to get ourselves some power. So we'll have that one. So we'll put one pole there. We'll put another one just there to connect to this one and to connect to that one. And then what we will do is we'll just plop down a biomass burner just here. Add you to there. So that should be, so we've got max consumption's 30 megawatts and this is going to produce 30 megawatts. So we've got enough room to add our constructors on the other end. So again, we'll go into our production, we'll get our constructor. We can only build the one at the moment because we haven't got enough wire. Okay. So again, if I press Control, you see that green line that is snapped exactly to the middle of that smelter. So I don't want it to be too far away because we're a bit cramped for room here. So we'll plop it just there. Okay, and again, we'll bang that into there. Now this is going to need some power as well, so we'll run another power pole to there, because we're going to need to put some more across the other machines. And we've run out of cable. Okay, let's get some more cable on the go. So we need quite a bit for building those constructors. I think it was 8 per one, so we'll get a good 50 done. There we go. So back to the wire, so we'll hook those two up. We'll get ourselves... Can we fit a splitter into there? So this one's going to be iron plates, because iron plates takes 30 ingots per minute and gives us 20 plates. So that is basically a 1-to-1 ratio. So this smelter's making 30 ingots, which is going to go straight into this constructor, and that's going to allow us to make 20 iron plates. So if we were to just quickly change this recipe to rods, we can see we only need 15 ingots per minute. Okay, and that will give us 15 rods per minute. So this is producing 30. So what we want to do is we want to see if we can fit a splitter in that gap first. I think we should be able to. There we go. So you can see there that is yellow, and that's what's called it's overlapping the clearance. So it's nice and tight to the machine. However, as you can see there, it's blue where it's not over the machine. So you can put these here now. Before you used to, as soon as it went red, this glowy red here, you couldn't put anything there. But now they've added this soft clearance in, it just makes things a little bit more easier to save on space. So I think we'll bring it out one, just so we can get to the belt. Okay. We'll get rid of you. We'll get rid of you. We'll get a constructor. So control. There we go, we're in line with that splitter. We back up just a little bit. That gives us 2 there for the rods. Okay, so we're a little bit higgledy-piggledy for the iron plates, which is no problem. One thing to always remember as well when you're playing this, we're out of iron plates. Okay, So what we will do is we'll get this set up for iron plates. We shall get it all hooked up with some power. And we'll just get it going so that we can get some plates automated. So yeah, so there's don't be afraid to just chuck things down, and you know, if things look messy and unorganized and you know a bit cramped, and I mean by my standards that I like to hold, this is awful. But you know, it's going to be messy in the start. You don't have the physical capacity to make things look neat and tidy from day one. You know, there's things in, as I said, in that building called the Awesome Shop, whereby that you can get stuff to make things, you know, a bit more beautiful and pretty and the such. So as you can see, we just have a quick talk. As you can see, these lights here. So this one here is yellow. Well, it's now flicked to green. So we'll get to this one. So this one here is grey. This basically states that this is not connected to any kind of power at all. So if I hook it up to power, it stays grey because we haven't selected a recipe. So we'll go iron rods because we know that's what this is going to be. Now you can see that this here is now gone to yellow. So that's basically saying that there's nothing in here. We've got a recipe, but you're not giving me any items. Likewise on this one is green because we've got the recipe, we've got the items coming in, and the power's connected, and it's connected to the grid. Now when we run out of power, all of the lights of the buildings connected to these four here and the miner will go red, and that basically says, right, you're out of power, you've either missed a connection somewhere or we've tripped the system and we need some more power. So if we take a look in here, you can see we've got these magical lines. So currently this little grid we've got set up is consuming, when the miner's at full pelt, about 17 megawatts. The capacity of that burner is the grey line at the top, which is 30. That is our current production rate, which is usually exactly the same as consumption. But the max consumption for this grid, if everything's running at full beans, is 21 megawatts. So you can see that leaves us well below the 30 capacity that we've got available. As soon as this goes above the grey line, that's when you have the possibility of a blowout on the system. So need to keep an eye on these figures and make sure that this grey one is always higher than these three at all times. We should have some plates made by now. Yeah, 38, fantastic. Right, so that should now allow us to get the rod sorted. Again, just to make these right angles, you can see that there is perfectly in line with this smelter and that constructor. So this is just a little quick, easy beautification tip. If you go to that corner and go either go 2 back, drop that down. Now, when you connect it, you'll be at a perfect right angle. So I'll get you set up for rod. We'll get another all set down. We'll connect you up. Okay. So do we have? Just do some more down. Get rid of a little bit of this foliage from the here. Okay, so do we have enough to make some storage boxes? Let's have a look. No, we need some rods. So luckily we've got those automated now. They don't take long to produce. So when you go into a building, just shift click and that will collect everything up for you. And what we'll do is we'll bang down a couple of storage containers here. We'll have one for the plates and one for the rods. And a couple of plates short. No problem. So we'll have you. So So we'll have you come out of here. You can go in there nice and neat and tidy. Right, so that sounds like these are finished. So we'll set up our merger line just at the back here. So we'll line it up with that over there. So the mergers have 3 inputs and 1 outputs rather than 1 input and 3 outputs. So we'll wait till we find that green line. There it is. And we'll rotate the green arrow in that direction. And then that should allow us to hook that straight up. To hook that up. And hook that up. Okay, so that is the automation on that iron. So as we can see, we've got a red light, so we're obviously out of power. There we go. So you can see the leaves go through very quickly indeed. So ideally we could do with setting up another little mini factory that can actually produce us some biomass. So I think we'll set it up down by the hub to start with. Again, we'll just put, oh, we've got no plates, so we can't do that just yet. I think we've got some in here. Oh, we've got plenty of foliage. So we'll take all that and we'll chuck some of that in the biomass burner for now. I think what we'll do next is we'll head over to the limestone factory and we'll get that concrete automation a little bit more efficient. So that should keep us going for a bit just while we sort this out. Now in the early days as you're running around, just keep pressing E on any of the foliage just so you can collect up this the leaves and the wood and that just for some biomass production, because that is going to be your early game fuel until you get to the coal or power setup, which will take just a little bit depending on how slow or fast you're looking to progress in the game. Also helps just to tidy things up a little bit so that when you're placing down your foundations and bits and pieces, you don't have random bits of tree and bushes sticking out of your factory floors. So that's enough. That'll be enough of that from there. We'll just collect it as we go now. When we get the chainsaw, we can take these trees apart and the bits that it's not allowing us to collect up. Oh, we've still got plenty going in here. Fantastic. Ah, so we're running on biomass in this one. Okay. So we're going to ruin. In fact, no, we're not going to ruin it. We're just going to Frankenstein this one. So we're going to put you there. We're going to put a merger onto that belt if we can, which we can't because we don't have the plates. Oh, so we're not going to be able to attach that. Oh, we're failing at Satisfactory today, boys and girls. Right, let's go and grab some more of those plates. Ooh, got some birdies. Okay, so where's our story? Plates, 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 fantastic. Any rods? Excellent. What we'll do is we'll make just a little bit of biomass while we're here. Okay, so we'll slam the biomass in there because that's going to be used at a lot slower rate, as you can see. It's gone from 0.5 seconds per item to 6 seconds. That's brilliant. Okay. So we'll head on back over to the concrete factory. Now we've got the items in tow. So as you can see, like I said earlier, from the start point, you're going to be doing a lot of backwards and forwards in until you get the resources and the means whereby you can start transferring the items to where you want them to be rather than you having to run around after them. So we'll put a splitter on here. Now, the only issue we're going to have with doing this splitter is it might not take it where it is. No, I didn't think it would. Okay, so we are going to have to rip it all up a little bit. That's okay. That just means we can be a little bit more tidy. Try and get that in line if we can. Lovely jubbly. Alright, so we'll drop ourselves the merger. That's in line with there, so that'll mean... There we go. There we go. And then we need ourselves a splitter. What we might have to do is we may have to put that belt in first, then put the splitter down. There we go. Excellent. Okay, so this is going to be concrete. That's going to take 45 per minute. This will be concrete as well, which will take another 45 per minute. So that's going to be 90 being utilised. We'll chuck that in there just to get it out of the inventory. We'll chuck that one in there and that one into there. That'll give it just a little bit of a boost. We'll pop a pole down just here. And luckily we just have the 4 buildings. That's 1 connection, 2 connections, 3 connections, and the biomass burner, and we are away. So we should now have double the amount of concrete being produced. So we should be able to get... Oh, fantastic. We'll take all that with us. Superb. So then, that is the iron complete for just a quick basic rod and plate assembly. That's the concrete complete, the best that we can get right now to try and utilise that node a little bit more efficiently. And then that just leaves us to set up a nice and quick copper factory. So we'll pick up the miners, just checking we've got enough room. We'll pick up that one. Right, so when you don't have enough room, it'll leave these little boxes around. So you can see here that we've got the 100 ore that we can't quite pick up. So if we just get rid of those flower petals, we don't really need those just now. There we go, boxes gone. So, foundations, where are we? Foundations. So if we press the left control again, that is now the world grid. And we're going to have it there. Just because I like to have the ore nodes submerged as best as I can. As you can see, we're a bit high there, so we may have to toggle to the next one and have the 4-meter ones. So if you hold down E, that gives you the HUD for this select item. So you've got the foundations 1 meter, foundations 2 meter, and foundations 4 meter. So we'll grab the big boys, left control again, and that looks a bit better. There we go. Lovely, so we'll get our miner set up. There we go, so again, we're able to select the orientation and it's a lot more straight and on plane. We'll do it this way, because eventually I'm hoping to send items out in this direction. What we're going to have to do for the meantime, set the factory up in this direction. So what we'll do is we shall bring... Oh, we haven't got any plates. So we'll just head back over to the iron again to get ourselves some plates. So, you know, this is where this quick early setup of automation is really going to start coming into its own now. So we've got 130 plates being made whilst we weren't even around, which is fantastic. So instead of us having to sit there and waste our time handcrafting, you know, we're out here getting the little bits and pieces sorted, which just allows us to progress that little bit quicker through the game. Okay, so we'll get our conveyor belt. We're going to bring it back past the miner this way. We're going to have the smelters. Oh, fell off. We're going to have the smelters going out in this direction. I wonder what that was. Okay, so we're just going to do the same again. We're just going to have the two smelters. One there. One there. We shall get our splitter down. So again, you see the orange arrow is pointing in the direction where it's coming from. Another nifty little trick to see. If you look at the back here, well, in fact, we get on top of it. So if you look here, we've got an orange section at the back and 3 silver sections. Now the orange section is where the inputs go, and the silver section is where the outputs go. So that's just another little clarification to say that, yep, we are where we need to be. So I'll have you as copper ingots, and you as copper ingots. We're likely going to need some more room. So let's get our constructor down and see what we need to make copper wire. So we need 15 ingots to make the copper wire. Okay, so that is going to be 2 smelters. Apologies, no, 2 constructors to 1 smelter. So it's a bit like the iron rod setup that we had on the other side. What I'm going to do for this instance is, just because I want to get this automated and we don't have much room, we're going to have... Oh, we don't have any cable left. Okay, so we're going to just have to have this one. We'll get ourselves a storage box, because the cable doesn't take too long to make. So if we go ahead and throw ourselves down a craft bench as well, that way we can just make the copper cable ourselves. So we'll get power pole, we'll hook you up to the miner, to the smelter, we'll pop another power pole here just to future proof. And then we need ourselves another biomass burner. So we'll plop you in the corner out the way. And we'll throw in some biomass just to get started. Okay, so that is the copper wire. Okay, well, no it's not, we haven't connected the end bit yet. Okay, so now that's the copper wire set up. So we've got copper wire, we're going to have some iron ingots being made here. In fact, would be nice if we have that craft bench back. Let's make a few more bits of cable. Okay, so we get another constructor. Can we get one in here? Yes, we can. Lovely. So we'll get you into there. We'll get you doing copper wire as well. We should be able to squeeze one there. So these aren't going to be efficient at all in any way, shape or form. But right now, it's just a quick little automation. So we've got at least some of these items coming through. And that way we can get rid of this craft bench. Put ourselves another couple of foundations down. Get rid of some of this foliage. Get ourselves a storage bin. Control to line it up. So we've got cable on the go, we've got wire on the go, we have got iron plates on the go, iron rods on the go, and we have our concrete on the go. So all in all, I think we're doing remarkably well as a start goes. Fantastic, excellent. The rods are always produced a lot quicker. How are we doing for biomass? Yeah, we're halfway through. So, do we have the plates on us still? Yes, we don't have enough though. Let's go and collect some more. Plenty of concrete. Right, so let's get our little biomass factory set up. It's just going to be a little bit of a bonus objective for today. Well then, boys and girls, what I think we'll actually do with this episode is we shall leave this one here for now. I don't want to bombard too much in one episode. What we'll do is when we get started on the next episode, we'll get our little biomass generation factory set up here. We'll look at trying to tidy up these bits and pieces up here a little bit more, make things a bit more efficient. Once we've got the biomass, we should be able to set ourselves up with some longer standing fuel generation, so we have to keep running backwards and forwards, throwing leaves into machines which just don't last long at all. So once we've got that done, we'll have a look at some of the milestones. In fact, we'll just have a look now to see what we can get planned in for the next episode. So I think we'll get field research done, which will allow us to get the map so we can see a bit easier and jot down places of interest, and also some beacons we can use to put down so we know where certain things are on the map. And I think the other one I want to go for definite is going to be obstacle clearing, just so we can get the solid biofuel, which lasts even better than the biomass, and also the chainsaw. So that's going to allow us to start getting rid of some of these trees, so we've got a bit more space to utilise and to work in. So we've got plenty that we can be doing here. We will look into these other milestones eventually, but again, I don't want to be doing too much of it in one go. So yeah, I think we'll leave it with the field research, and I think we'll also look at doing the obstacle clearing. So, okay then, boys and girls, thank you very much for joining me today. Hope you've enjoyed the direction that we've taken this in on this episode. Drop a note in the comments if you want, to give me a bit of feedback on that and see if it's actually worth doing, and if it's a direction that you feel is going to be good for going ahead with this playthrough. So again, spiderlings, have yourself a wonderful day. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one.